The reason you see people maintain and even accelerate their training so that handstands, muscle ups, and sky-high backflips are easy is because they know how to train. You might have good goals and try to work out hard, but how do you actually train so that progress just comes to you and you're achieving daily wins and victories? This is an art. I've built training blueprints for thousands of students and for myself for over 30 years for everything from hand balancing, calisthenics, power moves, tumbling, free running, which are also some of the elements in Powerbatics. And every blueprint follows the exact same process. If you want to master your body, you need to train the right things in the right amount at the right intensity. And when you get those three things aligned, your training stops being random at the one end or redundant at the other, and instead starts producing power. Let's break it down. You could train every day and still never improve, because if you're training the wrong things at the wrong times with the wrong intensity, your nervous system adapts to useless patterns. And an underdeveloped nervous system is responsible for weight issues, pain, sickness, mental health, and yes, overall strength. Now, most people train muscle groups, but instead, you should train movement categories and force patterns. Starting at a 30,000 foot view, let's zoom out and look at a year of training. Yes, an entire year, which in reality is but a small fraction of time. So a year's worth of training will break down to 3 to 4 month intensive training blocks and a good rest or even a vacation in between each. I mean, look at professional athletics. Professional athletes have certain seasons, or they have only a certain handful of fights throughout the year. They train hard, they perform, and then they have a break. You shouldn't do it any different. The most mainstream workouts will do a 90-day program and then just repeat the cycle. But this disregards flexibility, cardiovascular endurance, coordination, maximum strength and power, not to mention skill. But we're gonna go way further than that. Okay, so zooming in a little, every 8 to 24 weeks, you should be leveling up. In other words, unlocking new moves and going to new levels. Literally, not just a figure of speech. And zooming in even more, you should be increasing in intensity each week for about 3 to 4 weeks and then resetting. Now, zooming into the daily training block itself so you can start doing the right things, you must do an assessment of the thoughts you have and the words you speak. People don't even realize how much they complain and how much they talk about negative things, from how bad they feel to how tired they are, to how they were sick, to what happened in a relationship. Listen, if you really want progress to come to you, cut all of that out. And I mean all. It is a non-negotiable. A daily training block includes 5 key components. First is full body total joint prep. Second or third, depending on your level, is strength. Now, as a beginner, you should be doing strength second. Let's zoom in even more to the strength component. It's called Ninja Strength, which is a formalized level system for strength development. The other elements include, if you want to know, power moves, free run, circ, and hand balancing. But let's focus on Ninja Strength because it's more applicable to the 99% of people watching this channel. This breaks down into 10 pinnacle moves that cover the entire body. The first 4 moves are bent arm strength. Keep in mind, I'm showing you the pinnacle moves, but there are at least a dozen other moves that build up into each of these. And if you continue watching, I'll show you several super basic level moves that build into these, but the first of the pinnacle moves of Ninja Strength is horizontal pulling, aka the front lever row. Then horizontal pushing, aka footless push-up. Vertical pulling, aka one arm pull-up and muscle-up variations. And then vertical pushing, aka handstand push-up. The next 4 pinnacle moves are straight arm strength, hanging, aka front lever, reversed, aka back lever, above the rings or bar in planches and handstands, and sideways, aka human flag. The final 2 pinnacle moves are one arm strength, the one arm meat hook and the one arm reverse flag. 3 bonus moves are for the legs, but honestly, most of the leg training comes from vaulting, tumbling, running, sprinting, and free run, which generates 3 to 14 times body weight on impact, so hundreds or even thousands of pounds of force. But the first of the bonus strength training for legs are the single leg squat and then ham curl. And the final leg move is taken from the handstand element of Powerbatics, the leg iron cross. But again, those 10 pinnacle moves plus 3 bonus leg moves are what you should work towards, which build a foundation of simple strength. And that path begins by starting with super basic moves I promised to show you, like pull-up variations, push-up variations, and then skills, and then katas, which I'll teach you in a second. Now, what do all of these have in common? All these ninja strength moves build insane core strength, mobility, and your body operating as a complete unit. If your program is missing any of these moves, you're not training your body, you're fragmenting it. And a fragmented body is weak, no matter how strong the individual muscles are or how good your cardio is. But keep in mind, they're just basic static strength holds and moves. A major mistake people make, even many of the people you watch online, is that they end up just swapping weightlifting for these moves, just like it's regular old bodybuilding or something, just without the weights. So they're not getting any increased flexibility, no increased coordination, and definitely no increase in skill. But that's what keeps you youthful, quick, and alive. So as we navigate to the next component, skills training, there are both individual skills and combinations. But check this out. Each of those pinnacle moves themselves are a skill. Even a bench press or a squat is a skill. But as a human, you want to continue leveling up in strength and skill. Thus, the pinnacle moves, be it ninja strength or any element, like power moves or free run, they're all skills. And then these moves then assemble into sequences that literally train your brain and body. These are called katas. Even something like a crab to frog to handstand will get you thinking about training multiple moves together, and that's where the rewiring and transformation takes place. But it's important to not eat the whole elephant at once. Your body doesn't grow from burnout. It grows from dose-response stress. Too little and nothing happens. Too much and you fry the system. Just right and you adapt without losing structure. So let's zoom in again and look at volume. It's not necessarily a magic number of sets and reps, but rather the intensity coupled with the volume. Rep ranges and timed holds of 1 to 5 will train maximum strength. And then we've observed that about 5 to 15 reps trains muscle growth. But remember, they're all skills. So thousands of repetitions builds neurological patterns. And getting your first new skill will feel like a 1 rep max. For example, doing your first muscle up will be huge and probably only 1 or 2 reps of that your first day. But then eventually it will become 5 at a time or dozens. And this all logically and equidistantly spread across the week of training. And then the 4th section is dedicated to flexibility within the individual daily training block. And finally, one of the most valuable aspects of training, ending on a positive note with sharing your wins and victories. Do not underestimate this step. And this is precisely the structure that builds masters. Now let's zoom back out. Even just the average person, when you add up all the apps, programs, courses, and equipment, spends about $100,000 in their adult years on fitness, and you can Google that. That breaks down to about $5,000 per year. But did you make $15,000 worth of progress in the last 3 years? Even more serious, all the valuable time spent. So when you look at your next year of training, where do you want to be in 12 months from now? If you're in pain or in a decreased capacity, the first 2 months is the red zone. We want to get out of the red and into the green so you're pain-free. Month 3 is the blue zone, which begins preliminary strength and skills training. And month 4 is the purple zone, where you should be starting foundation training and growing into higher level strength. And then what we do is katas and skills and all of those things in order to graduate to everything you see in the Pacific Rim Athletics universe. See you in the next video and in training soon.